can jump in too. Like, I don't know what the funding structure is for something like that, but there's the initial setup and plan and development of the proposal, then the approval of the proposal and all that I think that this consultant is valuable with. But I mean, Daphne and I are continuing a bi-weekly meeting with our consultant to track our spending and track our funding into this first year. So whatever structure you put in place for other districts moving forward, I strongly encourage you to keep that person on at least for the first 6 months, if not the full year of the project, because, you know, again, we're Daphne and I are deeply involved, but she's such a huge support for us in doing that legwork to crunch the numbers and bring it back to us and look things up. And I think we would not be finding the successes that we're finding, or even getting close to the successes that we're having right now, if we weren't still able to work with her. So I think that's an important piece to any support you provide to a district who's looking to do this.
I could just add for Itoko, she's tasked a year of sort of creating a template that hopefully we could extend to you, Itoko, and to Sausalito Marin City as a way of looking at what options are. We know that this is very particular to this area, but you know, they are learning a lot around this braided funding stream work, and I think there's a lot that we can learn from it, and to see how it can be adapted or supported, or how it will work with upcoming support from the state through transitional kindergarten and all of the hopeful work that is coming down from the state. So there's a lot there, and we'll be excited to share some of that.
Sarah?
Yes, I think the whole issue of funding is very important, and I think that it is a combination of. I mean, what was interesting for me in this project was actually what are all the different sources, whether it's the school district's budget, whether it's Marin Community Foundation, private philanthropy, individual donors. There is a rich mix, and trying to bring in as many of those as possible from early on and building a strong relationship and holding a clear vision. I think one of the things for me that was so amazing about this project is how clear the vision has been for a very, not from the beginning, but it's been worked through, and there is constantly a vision and a plan. And, when there are hiccups or bumps in the road, it's like immediately going back to that vision or looking at what are we really trying to accomplish. And I think that, again, from our role, I definitely had like a few days of sleepless nights when it looked as though actually the whole thing was going to tank, because the board, the school district board, was looking again at the figures and was concerned about taking on a whole new program. And the way that you interpret figures varies, and the projections can vary, and they were getting alternative budget projections that were budget deficit rather than budget neutral. So, how you interpret that is tricky and difficult, and it's really important to respect, everyone's view. And so one of the things, again, because we had a established relationship, we were, invited to participate. We actually came up with like a safety net. We felt that it was incredibly important that the school district have a safety net. So we actually said that we would provide $150,000 over 5 years to cover any genuine deficit. And that provided some reassurance to the school board. But again, I think just befriending funders is not quite the right word, but making sure that you really have the best possible relationship with funders who are genuinely interested and want to accompany and support, because funders love having successful projects to fund that make a difference. So it's tricky, and there's huge amount of pressure on funding at the moment, but there are vast resources out there. So, finding them and working well with them is important.
Anne, can I just add, I just would like to say, I think Sarah mentioned it matter-of-factly, but the fact that she provided that sort of support of to provide some sort of insurance, I think for this project, I think is really innovative. And I don't know that I've ever really heard of it. And so, having innovative thinkers, having people who are committed, have skin in the game, all of that just, I think, ultimately, there was a lot of innovation along the way as well. So it really was inspiring.